New at 10, Carlton County is taking a step forward to put a data center moratorium in place after hearing concerns from community members.
Northern News Now's Ella Showbrow was there as a grassroots group addressed county leaders tonight. And Ella, a lot of strong opinions on this topic.
Absolutely. The grassroots group Carlton County land stewards presented at tonight's meeting, and they said that at the group first formed years ago in opposition of a possible Enbridge pipeline that would go through the county. But now the group is banding together again in hopes of shutting down possible data centers from being built in their community. Dozens of Carlton community members and neighbors from Hermantown packed into the county's transportation building Tuesday. Carlton County land stewards presented to the Board of Commissioners, urging them to research the full scopes of impacts a data center could bring.
Let other citizens help you, along with the experience of other cities and counties, so that we can be prepared.
Tuesday, the group urged the board to take action.
That is why we request a moratorium on the new type of data center development.
After hearing their concerns, Commissioner Susan Sims-Loney introduced an interim use ordinance that would pause the establishment of a data center so the county can research its possible effects.
People really aren't saying no, they're saying, let's be prepared. Let's make it in the best spot possible if we're going to allow it in our counties.
The board voted to move the ordinance forward with one dissenting vote. Economic Development Director Ryan Pervanzi argues that the county should not tie its hands on future development opportunities, especially since there's no current data center proposal.
We need to be careful on not, closing the door, slamming it shut when, we could get a few small projects that, invest some money into the cities or township and the school district.
But community members in attendance believe the best way to protect the well-being of the county and its people is by taking a pause.
These new type of data center developments may be homeowners and Carlton County's next large challenge.
Commissioners say that a final vote to enact the ordinance won't be until August. The next step will be to vote on a public hearing for the ordinance. That vote will be next week. Live in studio, Ella Showbrow, Northern News Now.